Mr. Lynch, life's already been life forever. Good morning, Mr. Massimo, Ministro Simpli, Mr. Massimo, Ministro Simpli, or simply, 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 David. Not David Lynch, it's January 22 or 22nd. So already only 9 days to the end of this January 2026, also this month, first month, so, year 2026. 2026 and it's a Tuesday in Naples. I think middle sky between middle and clear, but potessi middle sky in general for me is absolutely middle is equivalent of variable and pratically it's a sunny day, a clear day, scatta sia in general alternately with the clouds or bad sky or vice versa. Yes, it's the case of today, and it's between no, it's early. Yes, and it also seems very still now. At the moment, it's early afternoon, there are 13 and 43 minutes. 57 to Fahrenheit, 14 Celsius, and this means that it's really cold, like in the CVS, cold, it's for the winter period, in the parts of 4 years ago, as we can see, effect the giant and 40 years to 17, also effect, because if I really overcome 4 years with the parts of the summer, as absolutely no remember if they follow me during last past summer, I think of body. Also effect really overcome 4 years with the parts of the autumn, now it's for the winter overcome, to December 21, and to be precise, on 16, 3, 4 and 3 p.m. here in Italy. Ora sarà absolutely no remember think about it, so body which means suppose did. I'm sure at 3 minutes, so for example, so sometimes my proposal, like the question to which I need it's better than perhaps for me. And I did also do entire operation also for the spring the summer youth since for the spring so such is for the summer registrato for the autumn and second registrato soft sono tanti general for the to be a classificati and se guarda the grease at least for me was something così absolutely incomplete but non disappear because it's winter and it's cold. So in general, we should complete the contract, but when in a sense absolutely incomplete, I'm referring as if to me, in particular perhaps really for this period, fact that I don't feel cold, but I feel cold less than the other people, thanks to a series of practice, but two practices I follow and do in 7 years, which I always start to fight the cold, and and when it comes the winter period, winter weather reports period, I always write a comment in which I can explain what is practice, in this case, see I wrote it in the first comment, with the in the first part of the first comment with the asterisk, so someone is interested in what is practice, see the first part of the first comment, I repeat with an asterisk. Avere non è falso più from late think of not because I think I feel cold, when I think of yes or no, this depends on them, I think 19 and 5% I feel cold, or whatever in general in some way for me what's good. Instead about the scazzo stazione generator, I don't know if I can say anything just for me, it's good not so completely. If I can briefly as I'm a famous on this. Bingeri di afternoon, I think at temperature T repeats just before 7 to Fahrenheit 14 Celsius. At important thing customer sphere anticipated. Just before the Vedisa. Ah sì, se cortina sono se cortina in genere, maybe pensate mi should say most perfect. At least I suppose in fact sono that's the repeat this practically middle sky, clear alternative with the cloudy, cloudy atmosphere sky in general. According to the trend these last days, according considering water in the considering mathematician, everything I think it's possible that later in the afternoon, because it's really early afternoon, might became if not totally mostly cloudy. And also at Matria infatti davanti true sì mi sarebbe molto possibile ma su questo non bisogna un giganza wizard si può su inizia clear scheme today here well band at the moment absolute better also well maximum atmosphere little bad So season mythical winner new opportunity in flowers song flowers mix the plants in corte senza some one magari ti sono so borfi dove previous particular weather the birthday but the best it was a beautiful grey curtain and beautiful painted green branches rip on the passage back fanno previous in curtain all things ready to rimettere sono che si vuole read one my comments comment section ci puoi point there first comment forza comment forza comment one of them is read the comment section or I know if you can it you can see it read and that is it read well from the shot here me yes perhaps see the green flowers along the flowers mix with new plants. Oh, if not, even better, cioè, better in some shot pratica the first part of video which Perugia showed you whether scout at Angela from this classic mythical win from this classic mythical win is classical mythical room because perhaps you know also the other mythical room with other mythical window. Oh, for a broader perspective, also this other practice is a shot similar to classical shot film on interest word. In fact, previous curtain for previous beautiful curtain with beautiful pintages, perhaps also for the first curtain career and also for the ports career curtain if and trim exactly sicurei career curtain is still in cover image channel sono io vediamo 110 vicino and where I was saying and this shot so related to this fact of buff one reason thing really shoot also one reason but when reason was effect image la serie del test picture sente sul che si usa per se curtain ripete beautiful curtain il beautiful pentagon invece soluzioni che perhaps also for the structuring color curtain perhaps ma tutto il senso che perhaps don't remember exactly this and also che now also read al serit for this new curtain sorry but repeat expression also for five times so and this little speech or sentence it is but also always better visible for me in its entirety in this shot at this point is mythical legend shot. As regard the green shooter, new activities from optimistic activities in the first days of last October, it is important always important that also this activism now as you read its picture center used for the routine also it because so I also for it to repeat once again, but also and always better visible for me its theory in this shot at the once mythical region shot. And finally, from mythical keyboard and GX 640 PG 625 also in the case of mythical region shot. Yeah, getting the people of Los Angeles, parts quindi che tu era. Sono quello che esiste myself, passo due chiese and finally, I hope you will have a great breakfast. Today it's late in general, also I mean, in fact when I see late from us, and if somebody means last December start one in that occasion for this time, it's late in general and also for the record, but the ball for the record, at not in tool as you can remember because it's a kind of normality make breakfast. When this hours so late, not late, but simultaneously yes, but all important is to still for you for the record. It's similar to what is in fact breakfast at Fienten as you start to eat drinking milk at Fienten. In part met the idea se vuoi essere finché tre guardi se sembra un tristo staggio. Lo ripeto, incluso se cari record, le tue sono aspetta simultaneamente mettersi more non yes. Era just roll, gli obviously just roll in quote 13 and 13 and 43 mutes. But the important thing shows the set in some way also today fortunately so not million. And as we always say, sacrifice is the most beautiful class forward. Absolutely. And as you know, since with most 1 year or more than 1 year, also sto considering like effect of X for me reason Friday, magari things tomorrow it will be 4 weeks, 5 weeks that 5 Friday it crashed, and it was the 15th also with reports, beautiful red, black, not so white, that's different model compared with the previous, all things that perhaps no one follow, but in particular in fact the Friday with report. Okay, but this should be done. But I promise you that one day or one time, as soon as I check better, you better, precisely detto di certi dei things, medio di speech, e for saranno shots a Brisinuts, Jokius, Artur Matsumani, Matsamu Snu, for Sarah Biscuits, are my favorite, in fact, there are many beautiful combos with beautiful biscuits, and see, I think to one of the domestic types biscuits are chocolate chip cookies, although cookies, she shops, or chocolate chips, and if you're mistake, also for to biscuits, Miss Alice. Not in particular. I think the blue red, and I first one, but milk factory shot young at the coffee, those shock and because of that fresh materials. Shot an infest, I think, as a month, and so she is also a school shipment and beer. I promise you that 1 year, that's only a touch better, was a money quick with the finish. Now there's one since brought it once, I think, 192, 93 days, 94 days, as so lo so conoscere diverso, and that's better. So at the point, let's say a pattern inserted it once again in milk, so very good news. Quindi se also effect news breakfast, questo abbiamo se spiego in particolare mega bomba. E penso sì che si la spiego gioco se tu come mania solo corso mi fingo forse stiamo se pira. E pensiamo non so se toll ne cose breakfast, questo è mega bomba. Se continua se basi si fa in farabio si sa con de transi, ras mi sa sempre position, proprio so che segue di pam c'era secondo peso position. Mi cosa? Ma tu fai peso position mi andrà da Italian Pam Dark Shock chip si ras. Fa cosa? A due come nel medio. Because they are really super bad. Adesso tomorrow si può fare un telefono, non ti tomorrow tutto con il lepe. E uguale sì.